What's up, people? It's Niche Girl 30 here, and this is my Smackdown review for August 17th. Honestly, okay, I'm gonna be real. The wrestling in this show was good. It was really entertaining to watch. It was great wrestling. It was a great wrestling matches. That's one thing I'm gonna say. But for crying out loud, there was a lot of things that I did not agree with, especially when it came to, I'll get into Booker T later, but there are a few things that I really did not agree with. Number one, I didn't agree with the opener. And I'm not gonna say that the Chris Jericho literally made the opener a lot more entertaining in my opinion, and actually it did make um, Booker T at the time look like he was a very strong GM sticking to his guns. The one thing that I would have done if I was in Booker T's shoes was that if Sheamus was injured, if Sheamus could not perform for the WWE Championship, instead of Alberto Del Rio actually having a WWE Champion, I mean not WWE, World Heavyweight Championship match at SummerSlam, if he was injured, if they played the whole thing out, I would have had Chris Jericho pull double duty. Seriously, I would have. I would have had Chris Jericho versus Dolph Ziggler, and if he actually won that match, he would have fought Alberto Del Rio for the number one contendership for the World Heavyweight Championship title. If if Alberto Del Rio lost that match, he would have lost his number one contendership. If Chris Jericho won that match, he would have got number one contendership. But if he lost, he wouldn't have been able to ever go after the World Heavyweight Championship again. That would have been my step. That's how I would set it up. And I actually thought that Booker T was going to as well. But no, he did not. He just gave him a match for that night. And another thing, it makes me really happy to see that they're actually trying to get more tag teams out there. They're actually trying to pump up the tag team division or something, or bring up a lot more fresh characters out there for SmackDown. That made me happy to see Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rex out there. But the fact that they didn't even name the two athletes that were local there at the University of Texas, and I guess because maybe if they were real wrestlers at the University of Texas, I know they have certain stipulations to where they cannot be named until they're no longer affiliated with the school because they can't get paid for it. Maybe that was the case, but it just seemed to me it was a little insulting. The fact you couldn't even name these guys. I don't know, but maybe it was a whole University of Texas thing. Maybe they were actual wrestlers, and that's probably the reason why they could not be named. So in a way, I can kind of let that slide, but it's still a little bit insulting to me, you know. And another thing, when Antonio Cesaro versus Zack Ryder, how many times does Zack Ryder need to be just demolished, like literally squashed, and by Antonio Cesaro, no doubt? Come on, like how long does this guy need to be punished? It's bad enough that he was only the U.S. champion for a small period of time. It would have made more sense to me to actually give Zack Ryder another chance to be a U.S. champion for a while. Now, the reason why I say that because I like Zack Ryder, and the fact that he had the U.S. title meant something to the fans. Even fans such as myself, even though they're internet fans, it meant something to them. It actually had some meaning because he fought so hard to be the U.S. champion, and people were behind him. So he actually did bring something to the belt. He brought a little bit of meaning to it. While as much as I love Santino Marella, he's making a joke of that belt. The fact that Antonio Cesaro pushed his face and knocked him down, he didn't hit him, he pushed his face. How can a champion go down like that? Straight up, that's horrible. But that's just me. That's how I see the entire thing. I just see it as absolutely crazy and stupid and embarrassing on that part of that belt. It's like that belt is just it's meaningless now. But and another thing that I actually have noticed is I've noticed that Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio are in the ring a lot. And I have a gut feeling that Rey Mysterio is priming Sin Cara to have a match with him at WrestleMania because he is going to take over his legacy. I have a gut feeling that that's going to happen. And it's also nice to see Cody Rhodes out there again with The Miz in that match that they had. But I'm going to be real. I mean, the match itself was good. And since as usually the faces get the upper hand, I still feel like that he is priming Sin Cara to actually have his final match at WrestleMania versus Sin Cara so he can pass the torch, which I think is a good idea on that part, something that I will be willing to see. They had a few little things about little fillers talking about WrestleMania, not WrestleMania, SummerSlam, pretty much about Triple H, whatever. We'll see that, whatever. I don't think it's a perfect storm. I'm not even sure it's going to be a great match because now, for some reason, Shawn Michaels' arm is so broken, so damaged that he can't even be there on Sunday night. So what was the point of him coming out there in the first place? I don't know. Um, the one thing that I did not go over yet was the fact that Eve and Caitlyn had their match to be the assistant of Smackdown, and who would have ever thought? Oh my gosh, big shocker! Eve takes the cake. Eve should have gotten it the first time, but without this ridiculous match, she should have been the assistant. Period. Instead of going through this match with Caitlyn, because it was just dumb. It was ridiculous. It was stupid. It was pointless. Because we knew she was gonna win, so why bother? But anyway, I'm gonna go to the match. Well, actually, the final moment of the night. I'm gonna go into that. The segment beforehand, when Dolph Ziggler actually did take out Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho came out there stumbling and ready to fight anyway. The one thing I am gonna definitely say is that I did not at all agree to the final decision of Booker T. And okay, before I really go into that, I forgot one match. Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan. Sure, Daniel Bryan. Okay, there's something going on between him and Kane. It's a given. They from the last SmackDown before. But it kind of sort of made me a little upset the fact that Randy Orton won again. I mean, it would have been nice if Daniel Bryan actually won this in spite of Kane actually coming out and scaring him. It would have made him look stronger. I think that they're gonna have a match at SummerSlam. I can't remember. I have to go over that little later on for my preview. But honestly, it really would have made Daniel Bryan look not as weak. As for him losing against Randy Orton, I really wanted Randy Orton to lose, but do you really think that Randy Orton is going to put anybody over? No. Okay, let's go back to what I was saying before after I completely forgot. He reversed his decision about keeping Alberto Del Rio and Sheamus' match under wraps until he heals. It would have been so much better, in my opinion, if they actually did not have this match. That they actually had Alberto Del Rio go against Chris Jericho and had Chris Jericho pull double duty and somehow had Sheamus interfere. That would have been better and it would have pumped up to the next pay-per-view, which is Hell in a Cell. That's how I see it. But still, he reverses the decision because Sheamus asked him to, which makes him look extremely weak as a GM. I actually had high hopes for Booker T because Booker T really did seem like a guy that could get the job done and he could stick to his guns. He seemed like he was a dude that was dominant over the other wrestlers and he was pretty much a vet and highly respected. But now, what are you gonna do? You're gonna listen to whatever Sheamus says and be like, okay, we're gonna have a match anyway. So what was the point of that whole holdout? What was the point of all that if you're just gonna give him a match anyhow? I don't know. It was just really pointless to me, and it really did make Booker T look weak, and I didn't agree with it at all. But regardless of all that, SmackDown did a good job pumping everyone up for SummerSlam. They did a good job trying to get the matches together, the feuds together, trying to pretty much make the opponents look strong as well as the other people look strong for SummerSlam. But I just don't agree to some of the things, especially with Booker T's reverse decision. I didn't like it at all because I don't like Booker T looking weak. I don't like Booker T literally seeming like he's going to cave at every time the higher up guy, the champion, wants to have a match. It just makes him look weak. But the one thing I can definitely say is that I was entertained. The matches were great. There were certain things that I didn't agree with, especially the final decision being in most of all, and also Santino Marella's failed attempt at defending himself. But still, I have to give it a thumbs up because they did do a good job overall promoting SummerSlam, and they did have great matches, and they did kind of hype up the feuds. So I can't really, because of the reason why I hate that decision, I can't make that be my overall decision on why it was bad. I have to be honest here. It was still a good show. So I am going to give it a thumbs up, even though I do not like the decision at all. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Leave your comments in the comment section below and send me a video response. I am all for that. This is Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. See you later.